What's happening, sports fans? How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Good day to you. And we are doing a follow-up on the tragic death of Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Rondale Moore and the impact that it's had on the NFL family. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channels if you have not already done so. Those channels are TFG Sports Media as well as Kendrick Sports Hustle. And click that follow button if you are watching on TikTok. It was a couple of days before I decided to do something on the tragic death of Rondale Moore. Again, if you didn't hear, he passed away at the age of 25 from a self-inflicted gunshot wound in his garage at his home in New Albany, Indiana. Again, he was only 25 years old. Now, Moore had been dealing with some injuries the last couple of seasons. Matter of fact, he missed the whole 2024 season when he was with the Falcons due to a dislocated right knee. And then he would miss all of the 2025 season with the Vikings after getting injured in preseason with a serious knee injury. Now, Moore started his career with the Arizona Cardinals in 2021 when he was a second-round draft pick out of Purdue. For the Cardinals, he had 1,201 yards receiving, 249 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns again in his 3 seasons with the Cardinals. And he had developed a pretty good close relationship with J.J. Watt. I actually ran across some video where Moore was a little bit distraught in practice because he missed the pass. J.J. Watt was giving him, was kind of encouraging him, but you could tell when I was watching that clip that something was really going on with Rondale. It just didn't seem to be feeling right. But again, that was when he was with the Arizona Cardinals. So it got me to thinking about how a lot of these athletes are taught to be mentally tough, but physically, but a lot of them deal with a lot of injuries and certain things where they trying their best to get back and they just can't. It just seems like something bad always happens. We've seen quite a few athletes that we consider injury prone, and the pressure is on these athletes. Again, I know I've said it myself that your best ability is your availability, and I think all these athletes try to be in the best physical shape they can, but sometimes they just get hurt. You can't control injuries, and that was something that Jamal Adams brought up in a post he made on X, formerly known as Twitter, and he was basically saying that a lot of fans, a lot of people, players, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, I'm posting it right here where you can read it yourself. We can't control injuries. We don't try to get hurt and then trying to get back to where we want to be. That can be mentally draining. And he said that, athletes are under a lot of pressure. Again, I'm paraphrasing what he's saying, but he said it right here, and he makes a very valid point. I think a lot of times we take what these athletes go through for granted and think it's easy, especially those that get injured. It takes a whole lot to get back, not only physically but mentally. But then if you keep having them over and over again, I'm sure that wears on your psyche. Another Eagles wide receiver, A.J. Brown, he shared a vulnerable video as well, talking about his mental health days after Rondale Moore's death. And he said that at the age of 23, he was contemplating unaliving himself as well, due to the fact there were some situations that was going on in his career that he wasn't happy about. And so this brings up a bigger question about, making sure these athletes, if they need the mental health, they need to talk to someone, got to make sure that they get in the help that they need. Now, again, you can't help anyone that doesn't want the help. So that's kind of a fine line that we walk in here. But it's just sad, man. And I read the post from Hollywood Brown, wide receiver with the Cardinals, who was a teammate of Moore, who's in his post, he said that he had just talked to him a couple of hours prior to him unaliving himself. So it's just been a sad situation all the way around. Rondale Moore was a star in his hometown in New Albany, Indiana. He had a great college career, even though his last 2 years was somewhat, he had some injuries, but his first year, he was that dude at Purdue. And it's just unfortunate that at the age of 25, he felt like he needed to take his own life. So, again, these football players, I think we got to remind ourselves as fans, as people in the media, when we talk about players and talk about injuries, remember, not only are they athletes, you can critique them, but at the end of the day, they human beings too. They also have feelings. They feel what we feel, and unfortunately, social media doesn't make it any easier because you get all these comments from a lot of people that say some pretty horrible things about a lot of these athletes. I know if I was an athlete in this day and time, I probably wouldn't have social media. At least I would cut my comments off. That's just me. So, again, we want to send our condolences out to Rondale Moore's family and his NFL family, man. It's just a tragic thing. And here we are again, basically, 3 months after the Dallas Cowboys were dealing with the same thing with the loss of Marshawn Kneeland at the age of 24. He unalived himself as well. That happened back in November 2025. So I'd like to know your thoughts on this whole situation about mental health and athletes being mentally tough, and some of the nasty things that people can say about athletes that deals with trying to come back from injuries. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Talk to me in the comments. I'm Kendrick, the sports guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.